Two, I guess you saw it. The Golden State Warriors are now the Western Conference semifinal NBA champions. And once again, they advance to the NBA Finals. Well, I did say Golden State Warriors will win the series. It would have been nice if this series could have been extended to 5, maybe 6 games. Hell, a 7-game series would have been nice, but they swept the Portland Trail Blazers in 4 games. I thought it would have been a lot more competitive than that. I actually feel bad for Damian Lillard because, he was the superstar of the Portland Trail Blazers. He was the leader. He's the respectable leader in the locker room. And for you to lose 4 in a row, 2 at Golden State, and then have Golden State take you out twice in your own home, that's got to be painful. That's got to be heartbreaking for them. It would have been nice for Portland to contest them. Apparently, there's no one in the West that can stop Golden State yet. So they advance back to the NBA Finals. Now, I was hoping that maybe during the week when I get my cell phone bill paid, because in 24 hours, I will not be able to upload no YouTube videos for at least 3 days, starting tomorrow. Now, I do have some emergency money, but that's not my money. That's my dad's money. And every time I keep dipping into the account, that just makes it more painfully obvious that I've ran out of money on my credit card and I'm using his credit card. But that ain't the point. The point is, I'm going to make the video now. So when we get to the end of the month, going into the month of June, which is to prepare for the NBA Finals, the video's already been made. That is the Warriors, the defending NBA champions, once again back to the finals, versus either the winner of Milwaukee Bucks or the Raptors. And I'm going to put Warriors, I'm going to actually put Raptors or Bucks versus Warriors, so I don't have to make 3 videos in a row depending on circumstances. Now, I'm going to start with the Raptors. If Kawhi Leonard and those Raptors are able to knock off the Milwaukee Bucks, it has to be in a 7-game series, because Milwaukee has 2 games already, and yesterday we saw the series get 2-1. So if Toronto can tie it up and make it 2-2, and then hurry up and win the series, so I'm going to go with if Toronto won the series. Let's say if Toronto beats Milwaukee in Game 5 or in Game 6. Well, then it will start off this way. First 2 games automatically in Golden State. Warriors will probably take the first game by a big margin. Game 2, however, Kawhi Leonard might go for 30, 32 points. If he has to, he'll go for 40 points. And that's just Game 2 in Golden State. Now, Games 3 and 4 is where I think Toronto would have to really play some very good basketball. Now, if it's Toronto versus the Warriors in the NBA Finals, then the Warriors would probably still win the NBA championship, because this Toronto Raptors team has never gone to an NBA Finals in its NBA Finals history. They've never gone. The last time that this team could have gone to an NBA Finals was the 2001 NBA playoffs, when it was the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Toronto Raptors. Remember that Vince Carter Toronto Raptors team versus that AI, and that turned into a whole entire 7-game series. And then Allen Iverson won in advance to the well, it wasn't the 3rd round, it was more likely the 2nd round. But the point that I'm trying to make is, Toronto has never gone to an NBA Finals before. And even though Kawhi Leonard has all that experience, because he's won the 1st round, the 2nd round, the 3rd round, he's been in the finals, he's won in the finals, he's lost in the finals, he's had games go into overtime, he has played against some big-time players in big minutes. So that gives them the edge in that department, because Kawhi Leonard can step up at big moments and knock down some big shots. He can steal the ball with just only 10 seconds left and slam dunk it like he's Michael Jordan. But the question is, what he just did to the Milwaukee Bucks, can he do that to the Warriors? And the answer is yes, if he can do that for 4 quarters, which he can. And if the game goes into 2 overtimes or 3 overtimes, he still can do it. if the Raptors could win a championship, they would have to finish the series in 5 to 6 games. That's if it's the Raptors. Now for the one that I want it to be. The Milwaukee Bucks versus the Warriors. This is the must-see NBA matchup I want to see. I want to see the Golden State Warriors kryptonite in the NBA Finals. The Milwaukee Bucks have the Warriors number. Every time they play each other in the season, it always starts off with the Bucks beating the Warriors either the first game of the meeting or the second game. Remember back 4 years ago when Jason Kidd coached that team and he figured out how to single-handedly make the players match up against Golden State? That's exactly what I want to see in the finals. I believe Milwaukee Bucks will win against the Toronto Raptors and go to the NBA Finals. Now, this team ain't been to an NBA Finals in a long time either. But you know something? They can match up very well with Golden State. Okay? Milwaukee Bucks is bigger. They're stronger. They're faster. They can play all 4 quarters of a basketball game. If the game goes into overtime, they're not going to concern themselves with that. They played 2 overtimes against the Raptors last night. So that shows they can play 4 quarters and they can play an overtime. They can play a second overtime. If the game was to go to 3 overtimes, they still be right in your face. And this is the only team that gives Golden State problems on offense and on defense. They have a bench. And this is a team that don't even have superstars. I mean, they actually do have a star. He used to play with the San Antonio Spurs. I forgot his name, but he used to be with the Spurs, and he did win a championship ring with the Spurs. So he has championship experience. I'll figure out who it is when I look at the NBA standings for players on the Bucks. But he was with the Spurs. He was with the Pacers. Then they traded him to Milwaukee. So guess what? Milwaukee has the edge and they have Golden State's number. They can get inside the head of Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. They can get in their head. But the question you have to ask yourself is, can Milwaukee turn a series of games into a 7-game series? Can Milwaukee Bucks do it again, but this time do it in the finals? If they can just somehow survive game 1 and 2 in Golden State, or split it 1-1 is what should happen, but wishful thinking, but turn the series 2-2 and then force a game 5 and a game 6 and then force a game 7, the Milwaukee Bucks, the only way I can see Milwaukee Bucks win the series is if they win it in 7 games. That's the only way I can see Milwaukee Bucks take it in 7 games against the Warriors. Now, the only reason why I think the Bucks might lose, or I don't think they should, but if they do lose, it will only be because they only have one player on the team that has prior experience of winning and losing in the finals. And the rest of the players are like 7 to 8 years younger, and they've never been to an NBA Finals. And had they had Jason Kidd and not fired him 4 years ago, then they would have a coach who knows what to do in this type of situation. But my point is, that would be the only way I could see Milwaukee win the title is in 7 games. If they lose the NBA Finals, however, it'll be primarily because they just don't have enough experience in the championship game. Often at times, 90% of the time, a team who's won 3 championships in 4 years, and they go back 5 years to win a 4th title, usually they win the championship. Prime examples as Michael Jordan in those Chicago Bulls. I'm serious. Michael Jordan and them Bulls, they won championships in this type of fashion. And I can see Milwaukee have to come in there and use that Detroit experience, because that's who they remind me of, them bad boy Pistons. They can get in your face. They can get physical. They're not afraid to fight. They're not afraid of technical fouls. And you might see some ejections. You might see some flagrant fouls, some technical fouls in the game. You might see that in this series. So I'm basically giving you a prediction right off the bat. We're not going to even wait until the end of the month of May. We're not even going to wait until the first week of June. because that's when the NBA Finals takes place, is in the first week of June, and usually the game's always on a Thursday. So usually you sit back and wait for 2 to 3 weeks for the NBA Finals. So I ain't gonna even wait until then. I'm gonna give you a video now. And my prediction, if it's the Toronto Raptors, they got to take it in 5 to 6 games if they want to win the championship. If they get forced into a game 7, then Raptors might lose, and that favors Golden State. If it's the Milwaukee Bucks, the only way I can see them winning is in a game 7. Got to take it in 7 games. The only way I can see Milwaukee lose is because they just don't have the experience of playing in the NBA Finals. Because usually when teams win the first round, they have some trouble in the second round, they get to the third round, they have some trouble in the third round, and then it catches up with them in the finals, and then you lose the finals. And then Stephen Curry and those Warriors might win the NBA championship again, simply because if either the Raptors or Milwaukee come to the finals, it's going to come down to who has the most experience in the NBA Finals. You got a Toronto Raptor team that has Kawhi Leonard, who's won championships and has lost championships at the final level. So they have some edge. I'm talking about the Raptors. They got an edge here. As for the Milwaukee Bucks, that seems like the only answer to beating the Golden State Warriors. Because every time they play in the season, you always see the Warriors struggle on defense and sometimes on offense with the Milwaukee Bucks. But the thing you got to ask yourself is, can the Bucks prove to the sinners, the critics, the naysayers, the doubters, the skeptic, the non-believers, can you do that in the NBA Finals? And if it gets pushed to 7 games, can Milwaukee stand up to that type of pressure? It's one thing to play a 7-game series in the first round, second round, or third round, but can you do that in the NBA Finals? That's the question that you have to ask the Bucks. As for the Raptors, they got Kawhi Leonard, who can play that same level of style of a Klay Thompson, a Draymond Green, and has no problem doing it on both ends of the court. The front court, the top of the key, the back court. Kawhi Leonard can do it. And that gives Toronto an edge. But can they survive and sustain in 5 games? So that's my prediction. Until then, peace.